Hello, hello, hello. All right. Just decided I'm going to do a little bit of a change up from my regular routine, and I need to get started on some NPC character creation. And I thought a little bit about how I was going to do that. This is what I'm going to do, I guess. The I'm doing this on Twitch, on YouTube, and Periscope right now. Um, Say hello in the chat. I'm basically with you. I'm talking about making tables and macros. There's a bunch of people out there who haven't had a chance to use those kinds of things very much in Roll20, and so I decided, hey, I can do that. I can talk a little bit about at least the easy stuff. The things that would make it easier for players to do what they want to do inside a game or things like that. For me, I'm going to be making roll tables that are going to help me with my NPC creation, my non-player character creation, because I have a whole bunch of the NPCs I got to create for my various campaigns. I got a Stones of Faerun campaign, which is kind of a homebrew storyline inside a very not homebrew setting of Forgotten Realms. We've got Dragons of Icespire Peak. That's a bunch of short encounters going on. I've just got a really, really good start on um, my own campaign setting called Olivos, and so that one's going to kickstart here. Well, actually, I'm not sure when that's going to kickstart here, but create characters for each of these places. So um, I'm going to start setting myself up so I can do that. While I'm doing it, I'm also going to use this opportunity to kind of hopefully create a resource that other people can use as well. So you got my Roll20 up there that you can see. Huzzah! Um, Me moving around there. Okay, so I'm going to kind of basically flip between me and my lovely little Roll20. And yeah, but for those of you who have never used Roll20 tables before or macros, this is potentially a tutorial um, where you get to listen to me ramble into whatever I'm planning on rambling about. I guess I'm going to do macros first. So um, in macros, when you're doing things, let's see here. I'm going to get it so that everybody can actually see what I'm talking about too, for that matter. Let's make this guy just a wee bit on the smaller side, shall we? There we go. Now you'll be able to see all of the things. All of the things will you be able to see. Huzzah! Okay, so this is my Roll20. Huzzah! Yay! I'm actually got to set up a game that I'm going to use specifically for NPCs, and then I'm going to export them from this game into my character compendium at Roll20, and then send it over to whatever game I need to use it in. Right hand side, you can see there's all these lovely little icons. Many of you probably used to the chat, to the image base if you're a DM, but you certainly get your own. You'll have your own journal, maybe access to the compendium a little bit. Everybody should also have this lovely little tool here. Looks like one of those drop-down list kind of ideas, and this is where you can be putting in your macros. And super straightforward, simple macro creation. Whenever I create a game, one of the first macros I ever make is what I call the talk to myself macro. And I make it nice and simple because I'm going to put buttons across my screen and I don't want the buttons to get in my way. So this is the first one I do, and basically all that you have to put into the macro is exactly what you would normally put into the chat window. So if you would put in talk to myself, and that even just saying talk to myself will toggle it on or off and make it so that nobody else can see the things that you're typing. I don't like to type it because every time I type it, I type something. I have finger spelling issues, and so if I can't do it that way, then I'm not going to. I'm going to instead make it a button that I can just click on. And so I can show this. Okay, so there we go. It's not a token action. This is super simple. Like, I'm just creating this lovely little guy. And I'm gonna now it will appear in my macros bar or macros list here. I'm gonna put it in the bar, and what that does is it puts it all the way on the left hand side here, so that when I want to talk to myself and not have anybody see the rolls or um, what have you, I can just simply click that. So, huzzah! I am now talking to myself, and because of how the talk to myself thing works, I can also click it again, and it will toggle it back off again so that I can keep going. So that's crazy simple macro creation. I'm simply going with that for now for your basic one, because really what I want to be creating these macros for is to help me with my roll tables. And so I know that the first roll table that I'm going to be using, I'm going to be doing the NPC creation later on today too, but For now, I'm just kind of getting myself set up. So I like to use Xanther's Guide when it comes to my character creation. I have one character that I plan on creating today that's a soldier, and I also like to do my deep dives into why my NPCs exist, so that when my characters decide to throw me a curveball, I am ready for their curveball. Or at least as ready as I can be. I can't do voices much like you'll find on some of those nerdy ass voice actors out there, but um, I like to try, and I like to fail miserably and have fun doing it. The have fun doing it is the important part. Okay, so we're going to create a rollable table, but before I do that, I'm going to actually pull up my companion information on Xanther's Guide first. So let's see here. There's uh, okay, we're going to find. Let's see here. There should be it's your life section in here somewhere, I think. Origins. There we go. Origins. That works. And so Xanther's Guide just got this really cool set of rollable tables that you can use to determine why your character has made the choices that they've made. In this particular case, this is kind of your background story for like family, so on and so forth. I'm not actually interested in that so much as it is that I am interested in the why you chose the background you chose stuff. So I'm going to go all the way back to my Xanther's Guide, find my background choices here. It's the this your life and then the personal decisions section. So I just looked at origins. I should have looked at personal decisions. It's right there. So here we go. Personal decisions. Still says origins at the top. You know what? That's going to confuse somebody. Here we go. Personal decisions. I'm just pulling this up from Xanther's Guide, mostly because I like the idea of copy paste. If you have a copy of Xanther's Guide at home, you can do this. But you can see inside Xanther's Guide under the personal decisions, there's rollable options for why your character has become one of the more standard backgrounds. There are other backgrounds there that are more specific to various campaigns, like the Saltmarsh campaign has like shipwright I think is one of the backgrounds that are in there, but Xanther's just stuck to the standard one. So I've got the soldier stuff right here. I'm going to go back over here to my tables. You can see I have rollable tables down here. Now, the thing with rollable tables is that none of this looks like coding. So for those of you who are not familiar with coding, you're going to get your first throw in. Hey, Failire04. Good to see you. Thank you for joining in. For following. Hope you enjoy. We're going to start creating this. Yeah, by all means. Actually, if you so Failire has got some homebrew content. That's what you're telling me right now. So if you wanted to, you could easily fire off some stuff. You could join the Discord. Discord link is going to come up in one of the announcements here, and say hello to us in the D&D chat. Feel free to share some stuff. The Okay, here we go. Adding a rollable table, and so this just created a new table. I'm going to click on it because I don't want it to look like that. I want this one to be soldier. I'm going to call this guy here. So players can roll from the table. No, I don't want my players to roll from specifically for me. And so I'm creating this guy only for me. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add each one of the options. Now this one's really nice and straightforward because it's 1d6. And so trying to figure out how many of these things show up, not a shocker, which is why I'm choosing this one as kind of my demo for creating a rollable table. And so I'm going to add myself an item. And now I get to put the whole thing into the name. The whole thing gets into that name. Now, assuming I can actually do the copy. That's funny. No, it won't let me copy that completely. So maybe what I'll need to do is pull up myself that from a different window or something like that. But let's pop it out. Let's see if it'll let me do it if I pop out. Oh, nope, it's not going to let me pop that out. I'm going to have a look at that here in just a second. Gotta get my Xanther's Guide on Roll20 in my compendium. Alrighty. Get that back up here because that did not work out the way I was wanting it to. Of course, when you start doing this, it doesn't always go the way you want it. There we go. Compendium. So we're on our personal decisions here. We're looking at soldier in particular. What? Okay, so Huzzah. All right. Conjuration cantrip. Hey, I have a conjuration wizard too. Harbeck Dardendaliath. That's my conjuration wizard, and he's he hasn't had a chance to do a whole heck of a lot of playing lately, which is unfortunate. Bonus. Alrighty, so you teleport into a spot within range and become lightly obscured until the start of your next turn. So, I hope you don't mind, Phaelire. I'm going to give you a little bit of feedback on that one. That is very similar to Misty Step. I wonder if you want to take a peek at that guy and see. Maybe I'm sure you have a complete reason for making the cantrip. I'm curious to see what that is. Feel free to share it. All right, so getting out my compendium. Ooh, computer does not like how much I'm working it. That's all right. Let's go to personal. It's the lesser Misty Step. Fair enough. And I gotta tell you, I'm pretty certain I would have used that with Harbeck quite a bit if that were. Harbeck has had a bad life. Harbeck, my conjuration wizard, he is supposed to be lawful good, which doesn't always turn out. And go lawful good, and you go to try to help your people get out of a jam, and you end up getting cornered. Here's the funny thing. You get cornered by an elderly lady who is trying to beat on you with a slipper. And you can't figure out a way out of it because you're stupid enough to have um, done the it rolled like a one and a two and a one and a two on just to hit this non-lethal damage and end up giving up and saying shocking grasp. I was a first time player, okay? I shocking grasped a commoner old lady with Harbeck Dart and Goliath. He would have loved to have had that that other cantrip, that Wisp Walk instead. Um, I'm sure. Being as he was a level 1 wizard, that's all he would have been able to do. Um, learning. That's what we call learning experiences. Okay, so we're going to get this guy going. So for a reason, I can't get my copy paste to work on this probably because I'm using a browser option in OBS, but that's fine. So I'm going to put that whole reason number 1 there, save it in there, give it 1 weighting. Now, the weighting just means how many times is it possible that sucker's going to show up. And so in this case, that 1 is because each one of these only has 1 possible chance of showing up. So that's why I'm going with these and adding them in like that. One of the things that I have also learned about the roll tables is text is great. It loves text, but it doesn't like it very much at all if you start anything with a number, like a 1d6 fairies or something to that effect. And so when that kind of thing happens, and I'll just kind of show you, uh, and it's simply because it doesn't like to show the number. It likes to try to compute the number as opposed to actually showing it, and so it doesn't do it very well. I can't type. Uh, Addition. There we go. But if I were to try to start the next one with, say, and I have a couple of other roll tables in my Stones game where I have like 1d6 whites or something like that, if something could be a possible thing that I would roll up. That won't take it. Roll20 doesn't understand it because it tries to calculate that, and then it just doesn't come out very well at all. And that's not what these roll tables are for. They're supposed to be mostly for text or for images. And so what I usually do in that kind of a case is I'll put a little hyphenation on it just to make sure that it sees it as text and not as a number. All right, but I'm not doing that right now. I am doing list in the army, just getting all these lovely things created. You know, my son, Windy Mini, or Mini Windy, I guess we'll call him, is a massive creator for D&D. He loves to create subclasses. He loves to create races, even. I don't think he's got happy with all the ones he's created, but he has created all sorts of crazy things. He's got one called a Dreamweaver that he has created, and that's a class that he's created, a full-on class. It's pretty cool, actually. I don't think that Wizards of the Coast would ever print it, but mechanically it's still actually pretty good. So I'm actually rather impressed by what people can do. People asking, I was actually reading an article the other day about when are they going to come out with D&D 6th edition. They already have, and it's not actually that Wizards of the Coast has. It's mostly that everybody else has homebrewed their own 6th edition. So like Phalar creating wizard subclasses and artificer subclasses. Um, you're kind of creating the future of D&D, which is kind of nice. Um, if you can get it onto something like DM's Guild, that would be ideal because other people might actually fall in love with it too. And um, just watch for their for their community content information there and get it out there. Let people see it. That's how I got my DM screen out there. That's what I'm planning on doing with my NPC generator once I've got that done too. Um, People like to share stuff, and that's never a bad thing. That's never a bad thing. All right, and the last one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, got to get one more in here. Invaders attacked my homeland as a possible reason why I became a soldier, or why my character that I'm about to be creating became a soldier. There we go. Alrighty. Okay, so that's the whole table, and I just named it soldier because that's kind of what the subtitle of the table was. I'm going to save this lovely little guy, and now what you're going to see in here is that I have this lovely table here. I can just simply roll from in here if I wanted to. I'm not going to just go rolling from here. You know what? I'll show you. Why not? Let's do that. Let's go that. So I'm going to roll it. It's going to show up in the chat. Huzzah! And that's kind of what it shows up with from the roll table. It doesn't look all that pretty, but it works. So what I like to do though is like if I were to put in a button across the bottom here for every single table that I've got, it would fill up my whole screen, and then I wouldn't be able to play the game. So why would I do that? So instead, and I'm actually going to quickly put, you know what, I'll put in Urchin as well, just so I can demonstrate how I use macros with tables to make it so it doesn't take up my entire screen. So here we go, Urchin. Urchin. This is what if I had a character who had decided to become an urchin. Here we go. First one, Wanderlust cost. And next time when I actually do this properly later on today to actually create a character, I'm not going to use the OBS browser. It's a little bit cumbersome. There we go. I look after myself. That's one put in there. Ugh. You do not need to be a bot in my chat. Go away. Ha ha. Oh, and that's going to stay up on my screen now, isn't it? Go, of course. Why not? I guess that's the good and the bad of using the Streamlabs chat widgets. It doesn't let you block things completely the way you want it to. Not on the widget anyway. All right, getting there. And I'm going to type in something here. It's probably going to have typos in it, and I can always come back and fix it, which is nice. And I was the sole survivor. Uh-oh. Jeff Probst, I'm sorry. I'm sure Wizards of the Coast didn't realize what they were doing. All right. AK. Thief looked after me and other orphans, and we spied. For those of you joining in partway through here, I am showing how to make roll tables and macros. Simply as a way, and I'm actually doing all this because I have to start doing this later on today as I'm starting to create my own non-player characters for my various campaigns. I kind of have to get on top of that because the next time a couple of my campaigns start up, they are going to be meeting these creatures, these NPCs, and if I don't have my poop in a group, that doesn't make for a lot of fun while we're playing. Have all my players sit and twiddle their thumbs while I'm trying to pump out a non-player character. That's not how DMing is supposed to work. Oops. I raised myself. I raised myself. Huzzah. Okay, cool. So there we go. I've got myself my urchin table. Players should not be allowed to roll from this table. Um, yeah, absolutely. So Phalar, what I'll ask you to do, if that's what you want to do, the Discord. Links in the bottom of the Twitch. You can find that link to the Discord, and we can you can get some feedback not just from us, but you can from me, but you can also get some feedback from all the players in the game. Some of them are also DMs. Uh, in my Dragons of Icefire Peak campaign and my Stones campaign, for sure, they're in the Discord. And you just jump in the D&D chat inside the Discord server, and away you go. Share by all means. Love to have some shares and get some fun ideas. And they like to talk D&D. That's it. They just like to talk D&D. So jump on in. Okay, so I've got myself two rollable tables. I don't want them to both have buttons on my screen. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so the next job is to get the buttons on here that in a way that I can use. So what I'm actually trying to do is create a button that's going to have something with for all of these roll tables. And so this group of roll tables is basically the why I chose my background kind of thing. So I am going to create a new macro. That new macro is going to be just called background. Now, I'm going to actually use some of the fancy smancy coding that is available in Roll20 to make sure I get this the way I want it to look. Oh, and I have already lost my notes here because I'm swift like fox that way. Alrighty. Okay, so Phalar, forgive me. I'm going to make sure I save these. Actually, I'm going to copy these links right now. Copy into, and I'm going to take a peek at them. I may make it part of a future um, uh, stream later on. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely take a peek at these and see what you think for sure. What I think for sure, bud. And bam, right. Okay, so get my fancy code. Okay, so here's the deal. I don't want to have to go and find them because after a little while, my list of rollable tables is gonna be massive. And so if I don't want it to be in the way, or if I were to make each one of them into a button, it would also be massive. And I don't want to do that. So I want to try and make it so that I can have one button that would lead me to choosing 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 12 options. That's what I really want to have happen. So we're going to type in a specific set of actions then, okay? And, oh, I'm making my computer think too hard. Of course I am. Alrighty. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I don't want it to be going out to everybody else in the world. So I'm going to say, I'm just simply going to whisper this to the GM. And then I'm going to make it an NPC action. I don't really use Roll20. The template is NPC action. Okay? That is what I plan on using. And then I got to give my lovely little pop-up window that's going to come up a title. So in this case, the pop-up title is going to be, what background did you choose? See you later, Phalar. I will have a look at those subclasses, and yeah, we may take a peek at those later on the stream too. What background did you choose? Yeah, that's what I want the title to be. And so that's how I type that in. I make it 2 of those curly brackets, our name, what background did you choose? And that's and now it needs to have a little space at the end of it. Roll20's got a couple of idiosyncrasies that would definitely count. Put a space in front and behind what you want it to say. Whoops, right there. Put a space there, put a space behind them. Okay, so now my pop-up, when it comes up, it's going to say, what background did you choose? This next one, you can actually put in a a little title that, or you can choose not to. This the little subtitle, kind of like when you roll to hit, you can see attack, and then it says bugbear or something like that underneath it. This would be the bugbear thing. In this case, what I'm going to have it say is, why did, sorry, Xanther's Guide to Everything. Why did you choose to become? This is that's that section that we're talking about. And again, gotta make sure I have my spaces. So I gotta put my spaces in there. Okay, so that's going to show up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I want you to give me a list of all of the different options, all of the different rollable tables I've made. And I can always add to this later if I wanted to. So here's my drop. What I'm going to do is I'm now going to create my drop down list. And so it's inside the description. So this is basically when it shows up in the text box in your chat. This is the thing that's going to show up as the description. But here's we don't really know. We have to choose it. So we're going to use the square brackets, and we're going to roll on a table, and the table that we're going to roll on is going to be called soldier. That's oh, hang tight, I missed a step. Missed step. Yeah, totally. Hang on one second. Where is it here? Yeah, I totally missed a step. So I'm going to have to come back to this guy here. That's okay. I can leave him open so we can see what step it is I missed, because I really did miss a bad one. And so this is going to be, what I'm going to do now, I have to add another rollable table in here. And this table is going to now allow me to choose not just what the background of the soldier was or back of the urchin, but now I'm going to get to use this table to choose, here we go, we're going to call this one background. This is the one where I'm going to choose which background I'm going to use. Okay. And so far I've got, inside my lovely little rollable table here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Hang on. Oh, listen, WindyJ, you're not helping anybody by confusing even yourself. So hang on. Let's see here. Yeah, no, that's interesting. That's not the way I wanted that to be. I'll just look at this one. There we go. Okay. That's what it was. Okay, I got my wrong codes out. Okay, so here we go. As I said, I'm going to try and fill in the description box of my text chatter. So you know what? So far, what I've got is I've changed the template now for what shows up. So if you remember back from a bit, this is what showed up on my template. A really basic looking thing. Now I'm going to use, it's going to be whispered, so it's going to be kind of in yellow. Now I'm going to test this macro. What it's done now is put it into a little formatting. That's basically all it was. Yeah, thanks, Rebel. Yeah, the coding, all of the different things back and forth. I totally forgot which one I was using even actually. I'm used to CGI Perl script. So I have to switch my brain from one to Roll20 every once in a while, and it doesn't work out all the time. So, all right, well, in any case, you can see I've gotten my lovely little macros now into a beautiful little template. What background did you choose? That's the great big red text. The basic name, XGE, why did you choose to become? And now the description, except I don't want the description to be that. I want the description to pop up based off of something I choose on the drop-down box. So here we go. We're going to create ourselves a drop-down box. And the drop-down box is, first of all, so here we go. Create a drop-down box. This is the way we do it. We use the question mark to say this is going to be a query or a question. And so now, here we go. This is the question that's going to pop up to me. And now I want to say, what are all my possible options? Option number one, we're going to say the option number one is soldier. And what happens when they choose soldier, or when I choose soldier? It's going to roll on a table. And in this particular case, the table it's going to roll on is the soldier table. Okay. Now, there's an awful lot of brackets here, so sometimes you have to keep track of those brackets that you've done. So I've just said soldier, and I've just said I've finished rolling. And now that I've done that, I'm ready to say what's my next option. Vertical bar, it's usually like a shift and then the /1 above the return key on your keyboard, vertical bar. Um, and this one is going to be urchin. Oh, yeah, I got it. Urchin. And what happens when I get urchin? I'm going to tell it to roll on a table, and it's going to be the urchin table that it rolls on. Got it. Okay, so currently those are the only two options I've got. So now that I've done that, I have to close off that query box. And that is these other two curly cues kind of matched up with the ones beside the word description right there. So that should be it. I can save this guy. Now let's see what happens. I'm going to pull him back up so I can actually test him. Now let's see what happens. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to put him in the bar. Huzzah, it's now in the bar. Go to the text thing. Theoretically, it should now come up with a question box. Huzzah! There's the question box. Which background did you choose? I'm going to say I'm going to choose soldier. Submit that. I don't know why it's blinking out on me. There we go. And just like that, what background did you choose? From Xanther's Guides table that I plugged into my system. A war ravaged my homeland while I was growing up. Fighting was the only knife I ever knew. So potentially that could be now the background that I could choose for, or the reasoning for becoming a soldier. Now I can actually get into the deep dive of the NPCs that I create and the rationale for who they are as well, so that when somebody asks, or when my characters ask my new soldier character, whenever they come up with it, or whenever they meet them, um, why they are always so angry all the time, then I have an actual legitimate answer for them as part of the character. So I'm going to be doing a lot of NPC creation later on today. And those are the only macros that I have had a chance to get really deep into so far. But I like these macros, and you can use them for any kind of roll table you want. I have them for treasure roll tables. I use them for random encounters. I actually have one for weather, and actually I can show that one to you. I can't show that one to you because it involves a lot of roll tables to do it. But suffice it to say, I have it in one case. Um, if I were to roll on my weather table, I've actually got it set up now so that it'll roll the dice visibly for me, and it'll tell me that the weather is normal for the season. It's got a maximum change of 5 degrees from the normal, and it is breezy, and the wind is coming from the north, and there are clouds. I've got it all automatically calculating all that stuff for me now, so that I don't have to roll 75 dice to try to determine what the weather's like. I just click a button and it comes up with it for me. Same kind of deal with these NPCs. I want to be able to just go click on a couple of buttons and full backstory. Same story with when it comes to me creating my document that I'm going to be creating. I think the working title right now is WindyJ's. Oh, I had an NPC generator of some sort. I want to. I had a better name for it, but it's all gone now. In any case, that's the plan. So later on today, it's going to be in about, let me do the math here, 5 hours ish. Nope, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, about, well, it'll be more like 4 hours ish, 4.5 hours. I am going to be kicking back into Twitch, onto streaming, and I'm going to be creating some non-player characters for my campaigns. My Stones of Faerun campaign, my Dragons of Icespire Peak campaign, which I know that there's a lot of it that's already been in that box set, but I like to kind of create my own things from time to time. Or my new Oliveros campaign setting. It's Olivos campaign setting. I don't know where these are always. Actually, I have the NPC where I'm going to be creating later on today is easily found inside one of those campaigns. I need it, so I need to do it today. But you're all going to get a chance to see how I go into the deep dives. And while I'm also doing that, I'm also going to be setting up my roll tables. So you'll see all of the things. You'll see all of the ways, the inner workings of WindyJ's mind. Yeah, okay. That's it for the day today. Thanks for tuning in. Feel free to share the video on demand once it's all set and available for people who have never used this. They'll have to suffer through my rememberings of how to do these things, I guess. But I guess you guys get a chance to see some links to some creative content from other people out. And like Faylar, thanks for jumping in on this. And hey, let's see what we got for subclasses, see how they work and such. talk to you guys later. Have a good one.